So the gallbladder, why should you even care? If you don't have major problems with your gallbladder, you probably don't even thinking about it. So I'm inviting you today to spend a few minutes with me to learn a little bit about this little organ and to see if maybe you want to love yours up a little bit more. Hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Tufenkian, naturopathic physician and founder of A Reminder to Love, a platform for education and inspiration about health. So do you have any skin issues like acne, psoriasis, eczema? Does your skin kind of get itchy? Or do you get easily gas or bloating, especially after fatty meals? Do you feel a little nauseated? You kind of know that, I shouldn't have pizza tonight. You know it's going to do a number on you. You might have gallbladder issues. If you have any of these symptoms or any of the ones I talk about later on today, please go see your physician. Although I am a physician, I can't be your doctor here, so anything that I say is just advice and ideas for you to think about. So your gallbladder is this little tiny sac that's nestled, it kind of snugs up against the liver. And what it does is it collects a lot of the toxins that the bile releases throughout the day. 24/7, our liver is working for us. It's detoxifying all the time. It needs a place to put that stuff. So it sticks it in the gallbladder along with something called bile acids. It hangs out there until we eat. When we eat, it slowly releases some of that bile into our intestines, into our duodenum, which is the first part of our small intestine. And it does three things. So one, like I said before, it helps release the toxins. Number two, it does something called emulsifying the fats. What that means is it takes the fats from our diet, our essential fatty acids from our nuts and our seeds that are so central to good brain function and beautiful skin and cellular health. It takes those and makes them absorbable so the body can actually use them as building blocks to health. It also takes our fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E. It makes those so that we can absorb those and use those as nutrients. And then the third thing the bile acid does that a lot of people don't know about is it actually helps our immune system. It destroys viruses and bacteria. That bile acid is extremely caustic to the cell walls of the virus and the bacteria and breaks it down while it's sitting there in the gallbladder. So it's amazing. It does all these things for us while it's just hanging out there. So what could possibly go wrong with your gallbladder? Well, your gallbladder, like every other cell in the body, is sensitive and it can get inflamed. And when it gets inflamed, it doesn't work as well. So what happens when you get an inflamed gallbladder is called cholecystitis. It gets inflamed and then it can become sort of sluggish. It doesn't release the bile correctly, or the bile can get really thick in there and it gets easier to create something called gallbladder stones, which I'm sure some of you have heard about or even experienced yourself. So when those things happen, you can get a lot more symptoms of headaches, nausea, this intermittent pain that can be sort of mysterious. It shows up usually at nighttime, and you can have it for a few days or a few weeks and then it totally goes away. It doesn't necessarily just show up after you eat, which makes it seem really odd that it's related to your digestive system. If you have something like that, if that's ringing a bell with you, again, go see your physician and get some help. There are ways that you can support your gallbladder and love it up. This is one of those organs, because it works for us all the time. I just think that let's give it some extra attention all the time. It's doing so much for us. So there are foods that your gallbladder really, really loves. Beets are the #1 gallbladder food. So beet greens and the beet bulbs are fantastic. They have something in them called betaine, which works like the bile salts and helps your body break down those fats. The other thing that the gallbladder loves are dandelion greens. Super bitter, really great for your liver and your gallbladder, as are green juices. So going and making green juices or ordering green juices, really great for the gallbladder. There are herbs and oils that are really beneficial for the gallbladder. What you want to look for if you're doing research on your own and trying to decide which ones work for you is if the term cholagogue is used, then that means it's really good for your gallbladder. So as you're looking through your oil books or your herb books, look for the word cholagogue. Some of the great oils that we have to use are ones that are often in our digestive blends or in our detox blends or in our cellular health blends. So some of the ones that would be great are rosemary is fantastic for helping with bile secretion. Lemon and lime are also really good. Cypress is great. Again, anytime there's any kind of congestion or inflammation, you want to think about using cypress topically for that. Juniper is also great, as is fennel. So digestive blend, DigestZen is great. Your Zendocrine oil is fantastic. The DDR is another really great one that's good, as is Slim and Sassy is your metabolic blend. So all of those will be really helpful and really help your gallbladder and your liver function better. Excuse me. You can take some of them internally, you go use them as directed, or topically. A really nice topical oil combination would be to take lemon, lime, and rosemary and put it in a roller bottle with some fractionated coconut oil and put it over your gallbladder. I would do, say, maybe 7 or 8 drops of each, and then fill up a little 5 ml bottle, a little 10 ml bottle with fractionated coconut oil, and just use that over your gallbladder. Another thing to consider is combining it with a castor oil pack, which is great for gallbladder and liver function. You could use some of the gallbladder oils in with your castor oil and let it go and sink into your skin, and that would be really great to do as well. The other thing, besides their oils, there are things that you can do to really help support your gallbladder. So castor oil packs, like I mentioned, are great. You can also massage a little point right here. I'm not an acupuncturist, but there's a little point right here called the gallbladder point. Massaging that can be helpful. Putting some of the oils on your finger and then massaging there is great. There's a gallbladder channel that goes through your body, and if the outside part of your leg is a really big gallbladder area, massaging some oils in there or rolling out on one of those foam rollers can be beneficial for the gallbladder, to work the gallbladder right there. Making sure you're standing up straight and you actually have room for your gallbladder is also really helpful. I think acupuncture is a fantastic treatment to get for gallbladder health and support, so I would consider that too. Another thing is something called a coffee enema. Coffee enemas sound bizarre, but they're a really great way of getting a gallbladder release. So if you have a really congested, sluggish gallbladder, doing a coffee enema can be fantastic. So talk to your physician and see if that's a good match for you. There are supplements that you can take to help your gallbladder. One is turmeric, which you might be surprised. We all know turmeric has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. Most people don't realize that it's also really great for digestion and detoxification and will support the gallbladder. So taking your deep blue polyphenol complex will really help your gallbladder as well. Their probiotics are great because they're just part of the digestive system, and they will help bind some of the toxins and get your gut working more properly with its immune function. They work synergistically together with the gallbladder. Betaine, like I mentioned, from beets, you can take betaine as a supplement. Charcoal is another supplement that can be beneficial, as are bile salts. So all those are things you might want to consider taking. Taking your digestive enzymes, such as Terrazyme, is really helpful for the gallbladder as well. It helps signal some of those steps in the release of the gallbladder, of the bile into the duodenum. There's a whole mental, emotional aspect to the gallbladder that is around decision making. So if you're stuck, if you feel like, you can't decide, or you're really, really focused on a place where a decision you made in the past and you just feel stuck there emotionally, and maybe because your gallbladder is a little bit congested. Or conversely, if your gallbladder is congested, it may be harder for you to take action and motion and move in your life. So this is one of those places where we see that if you treat the organ, treat your gallbladder, it's going to be easier to move and make the decisions in your life, and vice versa. If you make the decision, it's going to help your gallbladder. So you can decide which place needs support, or maybe it's a combination of both. The whole body is incredibly complex and beautiful, and I love it. And the hormones really also affect the gallbladder function. Having excess estrogen can increase your risk of gallbladder stones and having a sluggish gallbladder. So if you have signs of excess estrogen, such as symptoms of hormonal imbalance, you might want to start working on some of that to help support your gallbladder. So eating a lot of brassica vegetables, so your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, those kinds of things, every day, taking your PB Assist, taking probiotics, and taking fiber, all those combined will help bind excess estrogen in the gut and eliminate it, and it brings your estrogen levels back into normal. The other items you can take to really help with that are the Zendocrine detox factors. The herbal capsules are really great for that, as is the Lifelong Vitality Pack that has a lot of really great liver and detoxification support herbs. So taking those things will really help balance out your hormones. The other thing that is involved in gallbladder function is the most beautiful nerve. It's called the vagus nerve. It's the longest nerve in the body. It is integral to so many different functions, and it is part of the signaling system for the gallbladder release. So before you eat, if you're able to get into a more calm state, it's going to support your digestive system and it's going to support the release of that gallbladder. So when you're cooking your food, if you actually take a moment to really smell it and just really enjoy it and anticipate what it's going to taste like, and when you have that beautiful meal in front of you, if you just take a breath of gratitude before you eat, your gallbladder will so thank you. That gratitude puts you in what's called a parasympathetic state. It puts you in the state of being able to rest and digest. And from there, your gallbladder can do its work and your body can totally support you. So this is Dr. Jenny Tufenkian with a reminder to love your gallbladder. Thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know if you have any questions.